Hello, how are we all? This has been one of the weeks. So, oh wait a minute, hold up, wait a minute. Sorry, my headset had expanded and it kept falling off me because, contrary to what some people might think, I do not have a big head. Oh, who's got this sickness bug? Right, I've had it since the weekend. We're now on Wednesday. What night was it? Monday night. I mean, I know I've said this before, right, and I know I can be dramatic. We all know I can be dramatic, but I was scared to go to sleep. Anybody outside Scotland, I was terrified, scared to go to sleep. So, my ear was sore, my head was sore, my nose was, don't know what my nose was doing, but one side there were remnants of blood, and I was throwing up and I was everything. Sorry for the TMI, but Sharon's caring and all that. So, and I've been so lightheaded. This is not the one. This bug. What I don't understand, right? I try and be relatively healthy because I do have a lot of ailments, right? We all know I'm falling apart. Like, once you get to 40, listen, your bladder goes, your brain goes, your bones go, your muscles go, your joints go, everything starts going south. So I take a lot of supplements, vitamins, all that kind of malarkey. Try and eat relatively healthy. Not 100%, but why would you? You've got to enjoy life at the same time. I swear, since I've started taking vitamins, or the additional vitamins, I've had more bugs. I've had more illness, as in sickness, not like my other illnesses, my ongoing illnesses, like more bugs than I think I've ever had in my life. Somebody please explain that to me. What if you take good stuff for your body? Means you fight off these things? Oh no, not me. So of course, if I'm not well, the wee one's not well. I mean, I say the wee one, he's 18. His immune system's as bad, if not worse than mine, because he's got a low immune system at the minute anyway, due to whatever reason the doctors haven't got to the bottom of yet. So of course, my oldest is laughing at us because he doesn't catch anything. He's just sitting living his best life with his feet up. So his work was really quiet on Monday and he came home early. He took a half day holiday, and I heard the door going and I thought, oh no, another one. Somebody else is done with it. Man down. And there's already 2 years down with it. So he walked in the door and I went, oh, you know well as well. And he went, no, my work was quiet, how? He went, just because you two have got crappy immune systems. Alright then, cheers for the sympathy. Cheers for the TLC. Aye. Oh, I don't even know what I'm trying to say anymore. Listen, I'm just trying not to be sick. So that this episode, so it normally takes me anything between an hour and 2 hours to record an episode, and then obviously edit after that and whatever. This one may take 2 days. I may have to stop a few times. But you know what I don't like? I hate that dizzy, lightheaded feeling where you think everything's going woo. And I don't like it. Don't like it. Anyway, that's enough of Aileen feeling sorry for herself. How are you? Are you surviving a bit better than me? I hope so. Because I swear I wouldn't wish this one on my worst enemy. I text my neighbour on Tuesday. Yeah, I think it was Tuesday. Tracy, no, my wee camera woman that I had at Christmas. Text her. And I'm like, why do I always end up with all the bad bugs? Like, completely feeling sorry for myself. Near enough tears and snotters, everything. And then she told me she got a text for her doctor's surgery to say that they've got everybody off sick. Our son's work's got everybody off sick. One of my other neighbours has got it, who I definitely never caught it for them because I don't really know them well enough. I say hi to them and whatever, but this is hard. Anyway, right, let's move on. Everybody's no well. We're getting to the end of winter and it's bugs galore. But I mean, can the news reporters stop trying to tell us, oh, we're going to have another pandemic? I mean, some people would be excited about that and some won't. Don't scaremonger people when you have no facts. Zero facts. See, when I'm not well, like, this is something I'm going to tell you just now. When I'm ill, I have no tolerance level for any BS. And I just shoot, hit, aim the target, whatever it is. Listen, not physical violence, I don't mean that, but my mouth will tell you exactly what I'm thinking, and so will my face. I mean, at the minute I think my face needs to go and take itself for a walk into the bathroom and throw up. But anyway, right, let's move on. I said that about 5 minutes ago, didn't I? But yeah, stop scaremongering everybody, please, because not a single one of you that are typing behind your laptop or whatever you are using to spin your jargon is a scientist. I can bet my bottom dollar on it. And if you are, just keep your trap shut anyway, because at the minute you're not a scientist, you're a journalist. Anybody agree? That's terrible, isn't it? I mean, I'm supposed to be nice to people, but just sometimes you can't. There's some people out there who you can't always be nice to, and that takes me into today's segment. Toxic family members. Ooh, that's a bulging, isn't it? That's a big statement. So, toxic. I'd say no. Spit it out, Aileen. So, I'm not just talking about toxic family members. I'm talking about toxic people, toxicity, whatever you want to call it, as a whole. But I'm going to start off with I'm going to kind of start off with family members, because that's supposed to be your closest, isn't it? Your nearest and dearest, as a lot of people will say. Some of us will have them, some of us won't. If you don't have any toxic family members, I love that for you. Amazing. But please do not try and belittle somebody else's emotions or experience with their family members that might not be as good as what yours have been. So, I do have one particular toxic, very toxic family member. I'm not going to say who it is. Anybody that knows me will know who it is. I'm not going to give them the time of day. I'm not going to... Nope, not doing it. So I do have one, and I have now completely cut that person out of my life. Blocked them on my phone, they can't contact me, whatever. Told my children, I mean, I've kind of always tried to keep my children to some sort of distance, but in some ways you kind of think maybe they'll be better with them than what they were with me. So you kind of give them that wee bit, I don't even know why we do it, you give them that wee bit of leeway. It's that whole give somebody an inch, they'll take a mile. See where I'm going with this? So my boys are old enough now. I didn't tell them a lot of stuff growing up. I had a lot of stuff from them growing up. There we go again. Alien's forgot to put her phone on silent. So it's a lot of stuff was hidden from them growing up. Not just about certain family members, also about obviously my mental health, past relationships, different things. But now they're of an age where I might shed a bit of light on certain things if it's recent. I'm not going to delve into the past with them unless they ask me questions, because I just don't think they need to know that. If they didn't witness it with their own eyes or whatever, or it was at a time where they were innocent children, whatever, like, didn't need to know, why do they need to know now? Do you know what I mean? Like, why drag up the past? You're just giving somebody airtime when you do that. But now there's things that they start to see, So they see it for themselves. So they're old enough to make their decisions, but I will suggest to them as well, maybe you don't want to have this person in your life, because do you want somebody that toxic in your life? Do you want somebody that behaves in a certain way, that can't even speak nice to anybody? Do you want that in your life? Because I've never brought my children up to be negative. I've never brought my children up to have any kind of hate towards anybody. Obviously, I don't allow them to get walked over. I don't mean it like that, but don't spew your hate towards somebody. Don't ever hate anybody that's innocent, that's never done anything to you. Take people at face value. If somebody's not your person, you don't need to have them in your life. And it doesn't matter whether it's a friend, a family, a foe, whatever, a colleague. You need to choose who you have in your life. And just because somebody is, in inverted commas, blood, doesn't give them a golden ticket to be in your life. So if you've got somebody who is causing you misery, who is treating you in a certain way that is not appropriate, that nobody should go through, then don't allow anybody else to tell you that, oh, that's your auntie, your uncle, your dad, your granddad, your brother, your sister, even your child. If it's your child, just because you birth somebody doesn't mean that you have to allow them to treat you a certain way. And yeah, I get a lot of people do say, oh, it's all about the parents and it's about how you bring your kids up. Not necessarily. Sometimes it's about that person might have their own issues that they need to deal with, and that's fine, as long as they recognise they need to deal with it. Go deal with it, and then come back and apologise for what you've done. Go do what you have to do, but if you never recognise that you've done anything wrong, then you will never be back in said person's life. So it's about you holding others accountable for how they treat you, but at the same time, people are well within their rights to hold you accountable if you're not treating them in a certain way. So always remember that as well. Like, just because one person might be treating you in a negative way, or being violent towards you, being abusive, being aggressive, being whatever towards you, does not give you the right to do that to somebody else, because you're then, the misery you're going through, you're putting that on somebody else. And why would you do that? I've had a lot of I'm trying to think of the right word to describe it. It's negativity. I mean, it could be a form of mental abuse. A lot of things that have been, what's the word, triggering factors in my mental health, I suppose, maybe. But that's on the person that's done that to me, or the people, because I'm not saying it's just one person, there could be multiple people. That's on them. But why do we always think, give them one more chance? Give them one more chance. Or maybe... And then you get somebody else in the family that might say, oh, but they didn't mean it. Oh, but. At what point do you say, but nothing? I am no longer accepting this. You need to turn into the Hulk or She-Hulk, however you identify. My son hates it when I say She-Hulk, smash. See, when I open something and I feel proud of myself because it was like really hard to open that jar of pickles and I go, She-Hulk, smash. My son's like, Mum, stop. And I'm like, no, make me. So yeah, regardless of whether somebody's in your life because they're a family member, in your life because you're a friend, in your life because you work with them, in your life because of whatever reason, doesn't mean to say that you have to keep them in your life because of that reason. If you think that person is affecting your mental health or being abusive or whatever, I mean, there's different variations, isn't there? There's like the whole name calling, there's the shaming you, there's being violent, there's being just disgusting and aggressive. The list is endless. But if it's wrong, why are you allowing it? Is somebody making excuses for the person? Why are you allowing them to make excuses without standing up for yourself? I'll tell you why. Because people sometimes will get you to a point where you think you deserve it, or it's water off a duck's back. They say it all the time. Or somebody says to you, just ignore it. How long do you ignore it for? Because every time you're, in inverted commas, ignoring it, it's building up in your head and it's simmering in the back, and every negative thing that person's saying to you, or those people are saying to you, they're all contributing to a bigger picture. Something bigger is going on in your head every time somebody says that. So, you make the decision. Nobody's saying any decisions have to be permanent, but find somebody that you trust. Open up to them. Tell them how you're feeling. Tell them what's happening in your life. Tell them what said person, people are doing to you. And nobody's saying, oh, you need to go and speak to the authorities, or you need to go to the police, or you need to this. It's not about that. I mean, if you want to do that and you feel it's appropriate to do that, by all means go and do it, because you might deserve some kind of justice, or do deserve some kind of justice, depending on what the person's doing to you. But it's more about you having the, let's say, Zen life. And listen, it's going to take a long time for you to go over certain things as well, and you work through that in the way that you deem is appropriate for you or works for you. But you have to figure out what's your point. Where's the point where you say, right, enough's enough? It could be once, when they've said it to you once. It might be 100 times. Everybody's different, and sometimes it's about how strong you are on the inside. Sometimes you're just the type of person that always wants to give somebody a second chance, third chance, 20 chances, 50 chances, 100 chances, infinite amount of chances. But only you can make that decision, and nobody can, do you know? So, obviously I said that we were going to start with the whole toxicity within families, toxic people in families, and what do you do? But there is an awful lot of toxicity, toxic chat, toxic people, listen, everything's toxic at the minute, including, the news, everything. Everywhere you go, there's something negative, isn't there? But social media, let's just touch on it at the minute, because I'm going to go into this deeper later, but I just want to touch on it because we're talking about toxic people in your life, because people do make friends on social media. People do start to trust others on social media, and that can be an amazing thing. Social media can be amazing if it's used correctly. People can make amazing friendships on social media. People can have lifelong friends through social media. But, and here's the but, and there's a lot of chatter on it now on social media, because on one particular site, and I'm not going to get into it because I am going to be deep diving it a bit further later, and I need to see how much I can legally say. Do you know how, like, every time I sing a wee song and I go, "Konosumi," this is kind of like that situation, so I've got to tread very carefully at the minute. I am going to, I'm not going to be naming any name. That was easy for you to say. I'm not going to be naming any individual person. I'm not going to the police about any individual person. That's not what I'm saying here. Just in case anybody wants to get my wee words twisted and mixed up and kit and caboodle and launched it in the wrong direction. you know, because that seems to be what happens on social media a lot. Somebody says one thing, and then somebody else thinks, oh, that must be you in another way of saying something else. So I'll just say that that's what you said. Now, this hasn't happened to me personally, but I've seen it been happening to people recently. So I'll just say to that person that doesn't like you or you don't like, that actually that was what you said, but they've actually added in a few other words or 10 sentences. And then the next thing you know, everybody's up in arms. So, you all know that I went to my local MP about a year ago. When are elections? When were the elections? Was that April, May, June, July, August, September, October? No, it was, I mean, I could tell you if I looked up my emails, but I just don't have the energy at the minute. I think it must have been around about April. Wait, and I'll tell you. We will tell you. I went to my local MP because I am absolutely sick of people trolling on social media. Now, here's the thing. See, when you hear people talking about trolling, a lot of people just think, or automatically think, must have been a child that done it. It must have been a teenager. It must have been 22nd of April. There you go. Is when I sent the email to, and I'm not going to tell you because she's not my local MP anymore, I don't think. I'm sure it's somebody else now, so I now, yeah. So 22nd of April, I went to my local MP and basically said, now I'm reading this email, sorry for like going off the topic, I'm not going off topic a wee bit, but going to tell me how, now these people, they don't work for us, but they work to help us, if that makes sense. They're employed to do what's right for their constituents. I don't know if you do this, but I always do it, and I always do it when I phone anywhere as well, and I always say, sorry for bothering you. And I phoned a letting agent a couple of weeks ago, and I says, sorry for bothering you, but I'm just looking because I sent you an email at the weekend, I've not heard it, blah blah blah. And she's like, hi, firstly, you're not bothering me. And I thought, oh God love you, Hen, you're the first person ever to say that to me. So anyway, that's how I started my email. I start everything that way. Obviously, I'm sorry for bothering you. I always feel as if I'm a bother for anybody, even though I'm only asking them to do their job. I do it when I phone the doctors, I do it when I phone the school, I do it when I phone anybody that I don't say to my pals because I don't care if I bother them. I'm only joking. But yeah. So anyhow, the reason I had said in the initial statement of the email, sorry for bothering you, was because I wasn't sure how clued up she is on the whole social media thing. By the way, my hands are going 10 to a dozen here. I feel as if I should be a mime artist. I put my hands in my pocket now because I'm just doing a dance at this point. What are we talking about? So, yeah, I contacted my local MP almost a year ago. She did get back to me. She was going to do some stuff and whatever else, and I think it's time to chase it up because I've got a few ideas of how to not fix things, because obviously I'm not that intelligent, but I've got a few ideas of a wee few roads that we might want to be going down. So, trolling, bullying, harassment, anything like that. If you ever heard the term, if you're in Scotland you'll have heard it. Don't know about outside Scotland, but it really grinds my gears. So you might understand just by that terminology, it means it really, really irritates you. Or some people say, boils my piss, or whatever else. Whatever your thing is that you say when something is really angers you. Trolling, bullying, any kind of abuse, whether it be verbal or physical, mental, whatever, really gets me wound up. And I know I always say I wish I had a wand, and that's one of the times that I really wish I had a wand, because there's so many people on, and like I said, these aren't even children, these are grown adults who are trolling other grown adults. Bearing in mind they're not doing it privately, they're doing it publicly on a public platform where children can see it. Now, if children are seeing grown adults acting that way, how can we expect them to behave in a manner that we deem appropriate? And if we're not bullying or trolling or whatever, but somebody else is, does that person deem that behaviour? So did the person that's trolling or bullying, do they deem that behaviour appropriate? Do they think that that's normal life? And if they do, then is that okay when somebody bullies or trolls them? Because I'm sure it won't be. I mean, I could give you I could give you a full novel on this of some people, and some of you will probably know what platforms are worse than others. Some of you might not even use social media, and see, to be honest with you, 100%, if I didn't have my own businesses, I don't think I would use social media anymore, because it can be vile. But then it's all about your algorithm as well, isn't it? So if you don't know how that works, it's all about, the type of people you follow, or the type of videos that you watch, or the type of photos that you like, or like say you clicked on a newspaper article, or say that a business ad came up and you clicked on that, all that contributes to your personal algorithm. So whatever you're spending most time looking at, liking, sharing, opening up, watching, listening to, the more of that you watch is the more that's the type of content will constantly show up on your news feed, whatever you want to call it. So I try, especially more so now, because it really does grind my gears. I try and follow now anything that works for my business or that would be beneficial to my business. Anybody that's got a lot of talent or any kind of talent, and it could be an actor, actress, it could be singers, it could be, I love watching dancers and ice skaters and singers. That's my favourite things to watch, because I just love watching talent, and I just think there's so much talent out there that doesn't get recognised. But also like watching things from other countries that you don't ever see in your country as much. Do you know, like the way people behave, if that's the right thing? So I've came across a couple of pages on TikTok, and it's in America. I try to remember what they're called. Is it Fizz Parties, or Fizz and Sparkle, or Sparkle and Fizz, or something along the lines, right? But it's not what you think it is. Well, I know a lot of you that listen are in America, so you will know what it is. But anybody that's not in America won't, because I think they only sell in America. And it's jewellery. And some of them, so they've got rings that are in what looks like a bath bomb. It looks to me like it is like a bath bomb, although it's square, or a cube should I say, and the ring's in the middle, inside it. And what they do is, now you can correct me if I'm wrong, I think it's just hot water, and they put the fizzer, the bath bomb thing in the water, and then they reveal what your ring is you've bought. So you don't know what you've bought until they reveal it, or until you reveal it in the house, because I think there's two ways to do it. You can either reveal it yourself at home, or they can reveal it for you on their page, or their video, or their live, whatever they're doing. And I just get so invested in them, because we don't have that in the UK. We don't have anything like that in the UK, not that I know of. There might be, and again, if I'm wrong, correct me, because I'd love to know if it is in the UK, because I want a bath bomb with a ring in it. So anyway, but that's not all they've got. So then you go on each individual person. So it's like, do you remember I've told you that I worked for a certain adult sex toy, whatever, company, and they do parties, right? So we would do parties. So this is basically what they're doing. They're doing parties, and the person's going on. Although when I was doing parties, it was different because you never really had the whole going live on social media or anything like that, and we never had our individual websites. I think from what I can make out, they've got their own individual websites where they upload how much stock they've got, like their inventory, and then people order from them, and then they reveal or they send it out, and you can reveal at home or however you decide to do it. But they've got they've got these rings that are in the bath bombs, they've got like necklaces, they've got bracelets, they've got earrings, they've got different things, but you don't know the individual item that you're ordering, so you, as in what it looks like. So you go on and you say you want to get one of these bath bomb things, and I think they've got different collections as well, and I think like months and years, I don't even know how it works. Listen, I've only just came across it the last week or two. I'm still trying to figure it out. So yeah, and then people are like, oh my god, I absolutely love that, or I don't love it, or I hate it, or whatever. And I mean, if you hate it, it's kind of like, well, tough, you've paid for it now and I've opened it, so you're getting it. Which, yeah, I love that for them, because just because you don't like something at first sight, you might learn to love it. I've thought about that about a few exes. One in particular, I just wasn't for me, and he chased me. Like, my pap was going with his pal, and for months and months and months, he kept saying to my pal, I'm going to ask her if she'll go on a date with me, and she said no. He was sending me Christmas cards and everything, and then I ended up getting up. And then, listen, that was like 30 years ago or something. No, just no. I should have just kept saying no. Anyway, why did we go into that? Yeah, so algorithm. So because I started watching a couple of the girls, a couple of the women that do these online party things and reveal, and like I said, I get dead invested. I'm like, oh my god, what did they get? More and more of these people that are doing these parties are showing up on my timeline. So that's how your algorithm works, if you don't know. And like I said, I follow a lot of people that sing, so I get a lot of new singers and a lot of people that I haven't come across before. They'll pop up. Comedians, love comedians, and I'm a big supporter of the army, so a lot of the army stuff comes up for me as well. So if you want to kind of niche your algorithm, or if you want to tweak it, control it, however you want to say it, be careful of what you're watching. So if you're watching something just to be nosy because it looks like people are having a wee domestic or a wee argument or trolling, if you watch that even once, that person will constantly continue to show up for you, and that kind of video, live, conversation, whatever you want to call it, however it was portrayed on whatever app it was, that sort of thing will show up for you more often. Whereas if you scroll past that and you think, oh, like me, see when I'm on Instagram, everything is pandas, everything that shows up for me is pandas. My sons just roll their eyes at me now when I go, oh, I want to see this panda, and they're like, a panda's a panda, and I'm like, no, a panda's cute. So yeah, Instagram, it's all about pandas for me. So I don't really see anything negative on Instagram, because it is all cute and cuddly and funny, and programs that I follow and people that whatever. Do you know what I mean? Am I making sense? Because I feel as if right, hot bus. We know my brain doesn't brain sometimes. But see, when I'm not well, my brain's just, I get went for a sleep. So, have control over your algorithm. Don't let somebody else have control over your algorithm because you're being nosy. Listen, we've all done it. If that, we all see things and we're like, oh, what's going on here? And then the next thing you know, it's just constant negativity and hate on your newsfeed, and you think, oh, why is this happening to me? But you can change it as quick as you've got that happening to you. You can change it just as quick, because there's a block button, unfollow button, unlike, whatever. I love a block button. Love it. People laugh at me because I'm like, oh, blocked such and block. I would just block everybody. Listen, numbers and things like that, I've never been one that goes, oh, such and such has only got 5 followers, but that person down the road's got 205. Can I care less? Because the person with 5 followers might have more authentic interaction or more authentic followers than the person with 205, because you can have 205 followers but they might not be paying attention to what you're doing. They might not be interested in what you're doing. It could be they just click because they seen it, or because they seen their friend had liked the page or whatever else, and it might not actually be something of interest. So don't compare yourself to wee Joe Blogs down the street because they've got more followers than you. I'll give you a perfect example. Is obviously I've got this podcast. I've got a couple more coming. One's been postponed because my rebrand's taking a bit longer than I thought, because Aileen's gone every 2 minutes. I had to put my rebrand on pause at the weekend because I couldn't even look at my laptop. We are nearly finished with the rebrand, don't get me wrong, the rebrand is nearly rebranded. But I wanted that side it finished before I started uploading any of the podcast stuff from that. So that's the business podcast that's coming. But obviously this weekend, this Saturday, the 1st of February, we've got Gossip with Friends podcast coming with Danielle. Forgot her name for a wee minute there. I was going to call her something else. Joking. Why did I say that to you? Oh, that's right. So, my brain really is a way to sleep, isn't it? So, me and Danielle were talking about this, was it yesterday? It must have been yesterday, because Monday I wasn't fit to talk to anybody. Me and Danielle were talking about this yesterday because I get a lot of hits on my websites and things like that, and I get this, that and the next thing. I don't particularly promote my social media probably as much as I should. But at the same time, I get my analytics for like my podcasts, I get my analytics for my websites, and they tell me more than what a social media page is ever going to tell me. Here's another example. Now, I never read the full story, so I'm just saying the brief outline of it, right? In the UK, at the minute, there's a programme on called Dancing on Ice. I forgot that as well. That's it. I don't know if it's my no wellness. That's a Scottish thing, by the way. I don't know if it's my bug that's making my brain not work, or if it's the brain fog from the menopause, or if it's the brain fog from the potential 9 million other ailments I've been told I might have. But anyway, no wellness is a Scottish thing, or an alien thing, I'm not sure. Listen, I know that I'm not the only person that says that. So, and somebody got voted. Now, obviously, when you're in a competition, and it's a competition on the telly, and week by week somebody gets voted out, you know there's a chance that you're going to get voted out, because it's between any one of you. And I get a lot of these programmes are supposed to be about talent or whatever, but in reality they're not. In reality they're about who's like more or whatever else, or we can go back to the trolling on that one as well, because somebody that's got a bigger following probably gets trolled more, or depending on how liked they are, they might get more votes. So the person, and I'm obviously not going to name anybody because I didn't watch it, like I said, I've only seen wee bits here and there of what people have been saying, and apparently the person who got voted out last week, because she has a large following on social media and presumes that she's very well liked. I do know a lot of people did go off her because of a few things that she's done in the past to do with bullying, hate, trolling, whatever, towards people. I'm not getting involved, right? But she thought she was going to be in it longer because she's got a bigger following and because she thought her friends should be voting for her more, and she just thought she was wrong to be voted out. But then who are you to tell the public that they should be keeping you in at the same time? You know? So those numbers on your social media don't necessarily mean nothing. I could have 1 million people following me, as in that's what number it says on my social media, but there might only be 3 people that actually pay attention to anything I put on. Do you know what I mean? Does that make sense? So I've got my social media, I would say it's mainly people from the UK who follow me. Now, I don't have a big social media because, like I said, it's always the last thing that I promote. I'm terrible for it. That's why I need a PA. I need a wee social media buddy that wants to do all my social media work for me. And if you want to do that free of charge, right? I'm kidding on, I wouldn't ask anybody to do it free of charge. But, itchy. So my following is mainly in the UK on my social media. I think, I've not obviously properly looked into it, but I presume, I know certain pages they are, other pages they might not be, don't know, because like I said, I don't look at numbers, but I do know that this podcast obviously is the only one I can talk about because it's the only one that's live at the minute. I have multiple countries listening to this podcast. That baffles me. I sit and I say, people in Scotland probably can't understand me half the time, so how do people in like different parts of the world understand me? I mean, I try sometimes, I do try. Obviously when I get passionate I get more Scottish, I know that, we all do it. It doesn't matter where you're from in the world. You could be from Alabama and you could be trying to talk in a certain way so that other people can understand you, and then when you get passionate about something you go deep. Alabama, well, I'm not going to say what language, but like, you know what I mean, your accent, that's what I'm looking for, your accent gets stronger. And I'm sure in Alabama or France or anywhere in the world, we've all got our own unique words. So I used to, my ex was from Dundee and I used to laugh because if you were to speak to him, or I didn't think so anyway, if you were to speak to him, he didn't necessarily sound Dundonian, which is somebody from Dundee. For anybody outside Scotland that doesn't know that, he didn't necessarily sound Dundonian or as if he was from Dundee in his everyday life. He didn't have a super strong accent until he got angry, until he got passionate, or until he got drunk. Because that was one of my biggest fears when we first started going with each other. Because one of his best pals, who was also from Dundee, sometimes I had to listen to him really closely. And I remember my gran saying to me when I first started dating him, and I told her he was from Dundee, and she was like, oh, they Dundonians, they talk dead fast. And I thought, so do we? But the further north you go in Scotland, the faster they talk. I do understand where my gran was coming to with that. There is some of them, like, you get to like say Aberdeen and or as my uncle used to call it, Aberdeen, the further north you go, the faster they talk, and they definitely have their own language. And I'm from Scotland, and I listen. I was working in Dundee one day, and I said to him, I was like, oh my God, I'm pure terrified in case somebody wants to talk to me fast. He's like, shut up. But he gets it because that's where he's from. That's where he grew up his full life. I didn't. I grew up in Glasgow. Listen. We didn't. I'm not saying it. Nope. Be nice, Aileen. I'm kidding on. Listen. No. There was one person, and it wasn't until the very end of the day. So I was quite lucky that way. It was at the end of my working day, and I was packing up. It's when I used to do my markets and things like that, and I was packing up, and this guy he was basically asking me if I wanted some help. Did I know that's what he was asking me? Did I? Buggery. I couldn't. And I phoned my boyfriend at the time. I was like, I don't know what this guy's saying to me. And he's like, he's pure laughing on the phone. He's like, just say what? I'm like, no, because he's just going to say it again and I won't understand him again. So I just said aye. Listen, if in doubt, either say yes or no. It depends whether you think it's a good thing or a bad. Lucky for me, I said the right answer and he helped me pack my car up. But that was a funny day. But yeah, so I need to be careful. Listen, I can get myself into so much trouble. Oh, we were supposed to be talking about what were we talking about, trolling? Listen, I swear that I used to say he bullied me. I mean, he didn't. He didn't. Him and Danielle used to gang up on me. So they were my trolls, face to face. They trolled me in a daily life. And then as I got to know my boys, the more I got to know my boys, especially the youngest thought it was brilliant when the two of them used to gang up on me. And I'm like, hello? I am your mother. You listen to me. See if you're listening to this. You did bully me. He used to always say, it's not bullying, it's character building. I can character build you in a minute. Right, let's get back to topic, because we've went off topic and I don't want to talk about him anymore because I get the wee violence out. Just a wee tiny one. What was I going to say? So we spoke about algorithms, right? So yeah, so going back to where I started with this conversation, I think numbers don't matter. People matter. You could have 25,000 people following you and you might only have 500 of them that actually pay attention to what you've got to say and are actually on your page for the right reasons. Now this is a good thing about private pages. Any of my personal stuff, apart from one page which is on TikTok, is all private. The only reason the one on TikTok isn't private is because there's nothing to do with my children on there. Anything that's getting any signs of my children, whether it be their name, their photo, their whatever, is all locked down, and nobody gets on it unless I know you personally. It doesn't matter what age my kids are. They could be 55. I mean, I know. I could still be here, right? They could be 55, they could be 105, they could be 25. I will still protect my children to the death. To the point where my son will come in for his work and he's like, oh, such and such did this or did that, and I'm like, tell him. I swear. It's like last Friday when we had that big storm, and my son's workmate them all going to work. Now everywhere was closed. It was a red weather warning, which meant you weren't insured to drive. Your insurance's null and void. Your insurance, is null and void if there's a red weather warning. And I'm like, you better tell him anything happens to you and I am holding him personally responsible. And he's like to me, he thinks he's pure girls as well. Doesn't know his mother for days gone by. And he's like, Mum, shut up. You wouldn't even get to talk to him. And I'm like, who wouldn't? Do you want to try me on that one, my child? So yes, do not pay attention to numbers. Pay attention to real people. Pay attention to the people that are paying attention to you and what you've got to say. So see if you do see anybody, whether they're trolling you, trolling somebody you know, trolling somebody you don't know, either block them or report them, or block and report. Reason one is because why should they be allowed to get away with it? Reason two, you don't want that person to keep showing up because you've watched 30 seconds of their video or you've clicked on their post to see what they've had to say for themselves, as in what they've typed or whatever, or what their picture says, or what the comments say. And always remember that just because somebody's defending a person doesn't mean that that person who's doing the defending is necessarily a bad person. Sometimes they've been either brainwashed, manipulated, they feel as if they have to, or that person might fall out with them. We do need tougher laws. Might give you a wee clue as to what I'm planning. We do need tougher laws when it comes to things like this. We do need people to be held accountable, because there genuinely is people who are either taking their own life or contemplating taking their own life because of some vile people online who shouldn't, in my opinion, you shouldn't be on there until such time as you've changed your mindset. And the likes of, now this doesn't necessarily mean this is what I'm going to go and speak to somebody about, right? So this has just popped into my head. So Danielle will be reading it, listening to this, going like, oh my god, what's she got to say? I can picture her now. I swear. She does it all the time when I have a brainwave. So, do you know when in the UK, I don't know how it works in America and Brazil and Moscow and Russia and Sweden and how many other countries is there? Listen, I can't even name you all. I'm just giving it. So like Europe, America, India, all these different places, right? Okay, listen, I'm stopping now because I'm just rambling. But in the UK, more so in England, because we don't really have it in Scotland, but I think there's a possibility of getting offered it, but you need to go to England to do it. If you get caught speeding over a certain speed or something along the lines, because I've never had this particular letter. Instead of having points put on your licence, you can go for a course, which then you go to it. So if you're in Scotland or potentially Wales, you need to go to England for it. If you're in England, you stay in England. But what happens is you go to this course and they teach you and they show you videos and different things, I think, of the tragedies that can happen because of speeding. And not just speeding. Obviously you could be going the speed limit, but if you can't brake fast enough, it can have a huge impact on anybody's life in different ways. Not necessarily take somebody's life, but it could have life-changing effects on somebody's life. Maybe we should look at something like that when it comes to social media. You're not behaving appropriately. Let's take you on a wee course and show you what you're mouthing, what your attitude, what you're trolling, what you're bullying, harassment, what all these different things can do to somebody else. I get you think you're funny. And I get you think you're the bee's knees, but there's always somebody that thinks they're bigger than you out there, and there's always somebody that will take you on. Now, I'm not saying that's right. It's not. It's wrong. But there's always somebody that thinks they're bigger than the person before them. And it's just it's a vicious, vicious circle. And it needs to be stopped. So regardless of whether it's somebody in your family, a friend, a work colleague, somebody on social media that you know or that you don't know, do not accept any kind of bullying, harassment, trolling, physical violence, mental abuse, obviously sexual abuse, anything like that needs to be treated by the appropriate authorities. And we all need to fight against it more. We all need to fight against, I suppose if you want to say, the bad guy in inverted commas. Because the next generations, there's always going to be a next generation coming up. And where does it stop? At what point do we say trolling's not a thing anymore, and our children, regardless of what age they are, they're still our children. Like I said a minute ago, my children could be 55, they're still my children, I'll still protect them to the death. So regardless of what age your children are, they're still your children, you're still going to want to protect them. But then you've got grandchildren, you've got nieces, you've got nephews, you've got cousins, you've got whatever, friends, kids. Do you want them to keep watching all this growing up? But what really irritates me the most about, in inverted commas, trolls, is the fact that you'll always see a troll online moaning or going on about or outing, in inverted commas, a troll. Don't see them outing themselves, because they're always the innocent party, aren't they? They're always the one who, I didn't do anything wrong. I was just being honest. I didn't do anything wrong. They took it the wrong way. So where does it end? And where is the governing body? Because from what I've seen personally and what I've heard personally is a lot of social media sites, and I'm not going to name any of them at the minute until I make sure they're not going to sue me. But a lot of them, you are reporting people for trolling or for vile videos or pictures or whatever it is you're reporting them for. And 9 times out of 10 it's coming back and saying they done no wrong. Now, how is that giving our younger ones an incentive to be the good guy, when the good guy's always let down and it's always a bad guy who has the last laugh? I'm going to edit this podcast and I'm not going to have an absolute clue, because this podcast went from one extreme to another. I apologise. I'm sorry. I don't know how it happened. But Aileen's not spoke to anybody probably for days because she's been too busy with her head in the toilet pan. So a wee bit of verbal diarrhea, I think, was had today by all. And yous have had to suffer it. But do you get my point? Don't have anybody in your life who is making you think negative about yourself or who's treating you in a negative way if you don't want them in your life. If you do want them in your life, that's absolutely fine. But please, please, please make sure there's boundaries there. Protect yourself at all costs, because you don't want to start believing what these people are saying, because they're not true. It's not right what they're saying. They shouldn't be doing it to you. It's not right what they're doing if they're doing it physical to you. Your mental health and your health in general needs to be your priority, especially if either you've got children or you want to have children or anything like that, because you need to be able to look after yourself before you can look after anybody else. And I don't mean that as in standing up for yourself. I mean physically have the strength to get through day to day. Anybody that does want to kind of discuss this further, and I don't mean any trolls, because yeah, Anybody that does want to discuss anything that I have spoken about any further can contact me. Just message me on any of the pages if you're looking for advice or support. And as I say every week, it doesn't have to be that you take any appointments through me, although if you would like to take an appointment through me, I do have spaces. But just because you contact me doesn't mean that you have to book a paid appointment with me. I'm happy to give people advice and point them in the right direction, because I do understand not everybody can afford to go private. So yeah, what are you going to do for the rest of the week? Please tell me you're going to listen to Gossip with Friends on Saturday. So I think we're recording tomorrow. Whether you're recording tomorrow or Friday, I've not heard for her today because she's on the road again. She's on her travels at the minute. Don't ask me where she's going because I don't know. I know it's somewhere in Turkey, and I know it takes her a couple hours to get there, but I can't tell you where she's going. I'm sure she'll tell you on Saturday. And it'll definitely not be as serious as this one. So, I thought I had somebody coming in there. Yeah, if you do want to talk about anything, give me a shout. Send me a message, send me an email, send me a whatever. My rebranding, now just because I'm rebranding and you can't necessarily see everything that's changing on the website, the business is still running as normal in a sense. You'll see all the changes by next week, hopefully. I can't do it this week. I'm out. I am done and dusted. Yeah, busy week this week in the sense of doing this today, doing one with Danielle. I've got something else I need to take. My youngest has got his first college interview next week, so we're getting prepared for that mentally, emotionally, everything. It's a lot for him to deal with. So there's going to be a lot of emotions this week leading up to that. I'm trying to think. I'm not fit for nothing this week. I just hope nobody else has to suffer this. If you think that you know anybody that's got this sickness bug that's going about just now, run away from them. Honestly, go and hide under a bed, go and hide in a cupboard, go and stay with your granny if you need to. Don't go near them because it's horrendous, it's horrible, it's not nice, and I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. Not the day anyway. I might have on Monday. Not the day. If anybody is unsure about how to move forward, if they do decide to kind of cut ties with anybody, how do you do it? How do you get transition? Let's have a wee chat. We can always do a wee Q&A one day. Not the day. No fit for it today. I'm trying to think what else we've got coming up. There's something else, and there was something else I was meant to tell you about, and I genuinely cannot remember what it is. Because in case you haven't noticed, I came on here with a topic today, and that's it. I was not planned. There was no plan. There was nothing planned because I didn't even know if I was going to record this. Like 2 hours ago, I was going to put a post on social media to say this week's episode's cancelled because I didn't know if I was going to be able to do it. Anyway, we've got to the end yet. I'm hoping my oldest wants to be nice and make the dinner for him and his brother the night, because don't know if I can do that either. Don't know if I can stand for that long. What else? I don't know. Listen, if I remember what I was going to tell you, I'll put it on socials. Go dye my hair the night. I told you. I said on TikTok last week or the week before, and I don't even know what page I said it on. I just remember saying I'm going to dye my hair the day. I've not done it yet. So the plan is, if I've got the energy, I'm going to do it tonight or tomorrow morning. I don't have time tomorrow morning because I'm supposed to be doing something with my son. Oh, Jesus. So I'm guessing that's supposed to happen tonight. Because me and Danielle are recording tomorrow and I look like a bag of poo. So if yous are on socials and yous do live in America and yous have never heard of these fizz parties, whatever parties they're called, have a look out for them. They are really good. They're dead interesting. I don't know the prices because I've not went on the website because I can't buy any of the stuff. I would just be depressing myself if I went on the website. But if you want any suggestions of any of the girls to follow, I follow I think 2 or 3 of them. I know I did just unfollow one because I didn't really like the way she was talking to some of the people who were spending money with her, you know. That's just my personal opinion. Loads of people love her and that's absolutely fine. We've all got our own opinions. But there's a couple of the girls that I do still follow, and yeah, they chat away and whatever else, and they seem nice girls, and they're just trying to make it a wee something for themselves, aren't they? Try to create something for their life, make their life better. So yes, if you want any information on any of the girls, you can send me a message and I'll let you know. I mean, I will need to have a look through to see what their names is because I never remember anybody's names. I barely remember my name. Some days. I don't know how you think I'm going to remember somebody's name I've never clapped eyes on in my life. What else? There's something else I'm supposed to be telling you and I genuinely can't remember what it is. Like I said, I'm not even going to try. But I'm going to go and lie back in my bed for 10 minutes before I edit this, and then I'll try, if I feel up to it tomorrow at some point, we'll see if we can do a wee Q&A, or if anybody wants me to do a Q&A, send me a message and I'll arrange it for a day when I'm feeling better. I actually might do it Tuesday. I might have some spare time because, I don't know. Listen, I don't know. I just need to be in the moment. You know? Oh, that's what I was going to say. Still not found a house yet. Bet you're glad I told you that. That wasn't what I was meant to tell you, but I've just thought I better tell you. Seeing as I've been giving these weekly updates, I've still not found a house. I've seen a couple that if they had a garage or a shed, they would have been good. Also, if the price was lower, they'd have been even better. But no, I've not found a house yet, and it's really, really starting to... Do you know that way you start to get impatient because you've got this plan, you've got this grand plan in your head, and you're working towards it, and you're doing all this stuff in the background so that when it happens, it all just transitions smoothly. It's never going to transition smoothly, but let's kid ourselves on. So I buy stuff in every week or every month to help with the move or for the new house. So I've got boxes coming tomorrow. I've got boxes coming for moving house, and I've not got a house to move to yet. Like, that's just ailing. That's ailing brain. And see if you were to ask that daft ex I was talking about earlier, if you were to ask him, he'd be like, yep, that's ailing. If you ask Danielle, I'll mention it to Danielle tomorrow, right? She doesn't know about this, and she probably won't listen to this tonight anyway because she is on her travels. So I'll bring it up tomorrow in the podcast for Saturday, and you'll see Danielle's face because this one's getting recorded on Zoom. So if you watch it on YouTube, then you'll see Danielle's expression. She'll just be like, nah, I can't deal with you. I don't even know if we've even decided what we're talking about Saturday. Well, tomorrow for Saturday. She just needs to hurry up and stop travelling and phone me. I mean, I'll probably be sleeping by the time she phones. Anyway, I hope everybody has got something from this. Like I said, I was only touching on it today, and I'm going to do a more in-depth one once I speak to a few higher powers, shall we say it like that. I was hoping to have spoken to them before today, but because I've been unwell, I've not had the ability, the oomph, the anything to actually pick up the phone or send emails or go to offices or go wherever. So this one will be keep an eye out, because it's not going to be next week. This one isn't going to be like a part 2 next week, not at all. This one is more about, so we've obviously just come over Christmas, and Christmas can be the old ta-da, amazing time, happy time, whatever, and then you come out and then the middle of January is always a bit because you're trying to get to the end of January, you're just trying to see the end of January, and then by the time you get to the end of January you might sit and go, oh, but I've not actually dealt with such and such. So it's more to bring things to the forefront of your mind, make you look at what's round about you, who's round about you, how they're treating you, and also to let you reevaluate, or you evaluate your life. Where's it at? Who's in it? Who's what in it? Are you being as nice as you can be? That kind of thing. I mean, I don't even know what I've said until I listen to this back, so we'll go with that in a minute. But I'm going to go because we're an hour and 15 minutes in, and there'll probably be about 30 minutes of this I can use. Because I know there is a lot of gaps, because we weren't feeling too great a few times and never had enough time to press the pause button. So there's a few chunks that need to come out. But take care of yourselves. If you do need an ear, a shoulder, or whatever, confidant, email me or send me a message on any of my social medias. So you've got this one, Reboot Your Thoughts Podcast. You can email me rebootyourthoughtspodcast@gmail.com. You could get me, you're probably better off just doing it on that one. And then just obviously let me know how you want to chat, whether you want to chat the way you've started, either email or direct message, DM, whatever, or whether you want me to phone you or however. I don't know. You tell me how you want to do it, and we'll do it that way. I'm going to go there now because it's not a good moment, let's just say that. But take care of yourselves, take care of everybody round about you who you care about and that you want to protect. Don't make any hasty decisions. Take time to make your decisions. Nobody's saying that you have to forgive, cut off, accept anything, but think about what it is that's happening. Look at the situation, look at any circumstances that may have led to it. Look at your behaviours, that person's behaviours, or people. How can you fix it if it is fixable? Or how do you move forward, or how do you move forward? Lots of questions. It's quite good to sit and write things down as well. But yeah, take care of yourself. Just make sure you're being treated the way you should be by everyone round about, and make sure you're treating people with respect and how they should be treated. But for now, I need to go, and I will speak to you all soon. Take care. Bye bye.